Hi, I'm Rick, and we're here in the BA Test Kitchen. I want to tell you a little bit about Chris Morocco. Once again, we are putting Chris's super tasting abilities to the test. And this is Guy Fieri's Trash Can Nachos. We're challenging Chris to replicate this exact dish and all the ingredients in just 2 days. We're gonna let him taste, touch, and smell everything about this dish, but at no point is he gonna be allowed to look at it. At the end of the second day, I'll come back, taste his final creation, and I'll be the judge of it.
I can really smell the bandana. It's like whatever like formaldehyde they put on it. Whoa. What was that? Oh my God. What the is this? There are so many different smells and things coming at me. At first I thought I smelled corn, and then I felt like I smelled like something like cool and crunchy. Like when I get close to it, I smell something kind of like herby and bright. As soon as I like smell one thing, I feel like it just sort of like fades and then turns into something else. I'm just sort of like a little bit in awe and a little bit terrified by the sheer scale of this. This is like where things get a little messy. Okay, so we have raw onion. Like this is like the vegetable that I was smelling so intensely, but it tastes like cabbage stem, but it's like a very particularly bitter cabbage. That tasted like a little bit of raw tomato. It kind of tastes like tomato salsa, because I think I just got a piece of diced onion in it that had been sitting in the salsa, as opposed to the raw onion that was sliced very thinly, sort of with the grain there. We're gonna call that raw jalapeno. It's got that juicy green bell pepper kind of aspect to it. Oh, okay. Got this. It drives me a little crazy when there's like all these things just sort of piled up on top of each other. That seemed to be a bean. It's beautifully seasoned. It's creamy inside. It's not mealy. It's not mushy. It's just a really, really lovely bean. So whoever cooked this, you know, I just gotta say, that's amazing. Oh God. And then this, that tastes like sausage. It's not very spicy. It would make sense for it to be a kind of chorizo kind of thing. Wait, there's just like another bean in there. Okay, so we have like a large bean and then possibly a small bean as well. This very clearly to me feels like it has to be the corn situation that I was tasting, given that that feels like very clearly like a toasted corn chip. There's something creamy. I would expect it to be Mexican crema. That was cheese, and my working assumption is that that was cotija cheese, which is kind of like has that squeaky, fracture apart in your mouth kind of texture to it. That was cilantro, but I feel like I had like a very bitter stem thing happening that like made me think it was cabbage. Here's what's tripping me out. Just in that last bite, I finally got like maybe there's a little bit of cheese kind of being melted onto these chips. Everywhere I go, there's like mush, you know? This is like, it's becoming like a bit of a problem. The sheer amount of wetness, I feel like there's gotta be some kind of like cheese sauce thing happening. And at first, it came across as there being kind of like a crema thing, but now just like the sheer volume of this and the fact that this kind of tower feels like it was constructed out of the oven and never saw heat in the oven altogether. The question then becomes, what cheese is this in the queso? You guys just couldn't help yourselves, huh? I have to say, like, this is utterly friggin' delicious. It's so over the top, but I kind of love it. I pulled off a flap of what felt like sausage casing, but I don't really think that's what it was now. I think there's just some like bits of connective tissue and fat that are like healing away a little bit in a way that made me feel like it was sausage casing, but we've got whole muscle here. I'm going all in on it being pork belly, and I just now need to figure out like how this thing was kind of created. I honestly have no idea who would have created this dish. It would be hilarious if it were a Guy Fieri recipe. I just need to get my ingredient list together. Kind of working down from the top, I had cilantro, red onion, but I'm gonna get a white onion just in case. Mexican crema, pico, and then jalapeno. We've got a big bean, small bean, queso. That's gonna be a real buy a whole bunch of cheese and see kind of what works kind of vibe. And then there's the chips, big chips, pork belly. We've got beer here in case I want to try an option with that. Cotija. All right, I'm gonna head to the supermarket, pick this stuff up, and come back here and do my first pass at this mystery nacho tower. I'm gonna head to produce and work my way back through the store from there. I'm gonna grab some jalapenos, cilantro, limes, red onion, tomatoes, white onion, possibly in with the pork belly and or the small beans, garlic, cheese. This is always where things get hard. I'm looking for queso Oaxaca as a starting point. Beyond that, I'm not really sure. Am I missing part of the cheese section? Okay, so cotija, queso Oaxaca. That's like our shreddy, kind of like almost like mozzarella, very like melty cheese. Then cotija, that's the crumbly cheese that was in there. Regular jack cheese, just in case. So we gotta get our pork belly. Could I have 2 of these pieces of pork belly here? So we're gonna get some sour cream. We're gonna check the other cheese case, the one they don't want you to know about. This is just another Monterey Jack sour cream. Even though this isn't Mexican crema, I'm gonna take this regular sour cream, I'm gonna loosen it with just a touch of water, maybe give it a pinch of salt, and that should get me pretty darn close. Over to the third cheese section. If only life were this simple. We have a blend of sharp cheddar, Colby, and Monterey Jack cheeses. Fiesta blend, Mexican blend, Monterey Jack, sharp cheddar, queso blanco, and asadero cheese. I've never heard of asadero cheese. I feel like we're getting into some dangerous territory here. You know, I'm getting one of each of these. I'm gonna get a couple sharp cheddars. We're gonna go with that. And then we need chips and beans. I'm gonna get a couple bags of this. This is just Mexican oregano. All right, so we're on a chip hunt. Well, I'm gonna get a couple bags of these. And it's party size. And that definitely felt like a party. That's it. Gotta get back to the kitchen and start cooking. I just came back from the supermarket. We're about to crack this thing wide open. I'm just gonna get these going so that hopefully we can get them done in time today. After that is gonna be the pork belly. And then the rest of it, I feel like is like details. So yeah, beans. I'm gonna throw a couple white onion halves in here. I'm just gonna throw some garlic, pinch of salt, little pinch of oregano. I just wanna start adding flavor to the beans. Cool, done. So now the far more serious question of the pork belly. I'm just gonna do a small quantity of this. I'm gonna remove the skin because I don't think I was getting skin from those pieces. I'm gonna cut it into 1/2 to 3/4 chunks. For the belly, I'm just making one batch that's just gonna be water and one batch that's gonna be beer. I don't know, it's kind of like a best guess. I'm just trying to inhabit the mind of the creator of this recipe. I would say I am 89% sure that the meat in question is in fact pork belly. That is something I'm very comfortable with, I think. We've got whole muscle here. I'm going all in on it being pork belly. Aside from salt, I don't know, this one's kind of throwing me a little bit. I'll do a wedge of onion in each. I'm gonna do a couple of cloves of garlic in each. I might do a piece of jalapeno. Not feeling great about any of those decisions at all. All right, so just a very light brown here. I'm holding the fat back so we can kind of do a light toast on our aromatics. I am going to drop a flavor package into each. Cup of liquid in each. Belly's going back in. And I'm just gonna let this simmer a little bit. So we're making the cheese sauce that's gonna go over the nacho situation. I feel really good, mainly just based on past experience. I mean, you could do a whole show that was just like, guess that f***ing cheese. So we have some sharp cheddar, got some jack, got our Oaxaca. I'm gonna just start with these cheeses. I'm gonna take a tablespoon of butter, get that melting. So this is gonna be our roux. It's gonna turn into bechamel once I put the dairy in there, the milk. It's essentially going to then turn into like, I think it's like technically it's like a sauce mornay, you know, but this is gonna be very scaled back on the milk and it's gonna be very heavy, relatively heavy on cheese. Flour, whole milk, and see if that gives me enough richness. Some of the Oaxaca and the cheddar. The cheddar is there for flavor, but I just hope that it's not gonna mess up the texture of this sauce. It's actually like pretty decent queso consistency. It's a little too sharp, I feel. I'm gonna loosen this slightly and then I'm gonna hold it while I work on the rest. Let's taste some beans. These taste really good. All right, we're just gonna slow this down, let these hang here. Just checking on the belly. This is the belly that was cooked just with water. Texture-wise, we are not far off and it hasn't even been that long. Just wanna try the flavor of this one that was cooked with the beer. I don't think I like it, but just wanna be sure. I'm going with the water. The flavor's softer, but still very full. Right now, I'm feeling the lowest degree of confidence, I think, than like I've ever experienced on this show. I feel good about the pork belly, don't feel great about anything else. We're now at the stage where I need to do the pico. Most standard is onion and tomato, lime and salt. We have our big, stupid, frankly, oddly thick rounds of jalapeno going right in there. So we got a couple other chip options because the chip that I felt in my hand, it was like this. You had like the rounded edge and then sharp corners. This very clearly to me feels like it has to be the corn situation that I was tasting. I use these at home. So freaking good for nachos. We need to make our crema. I'm just taking regular sour cream, added a splash of water to it, tiny pinch of salt, and that is gonna basically be about the consistency of Mexican crema. I'm feeling good about this. Yeah. The last thing is red onion. Man, we're flying now, right? So I'm gonna pull my beans over. I'm gonna pull my pork over. These things are gonna be, need to be kind of drained slightly before using, obviously, but feeling pretty good about that. It'd be like a drinking game, like every time I pull a spoon out, you drink. However right or wrong this is, it tastes really good. All right, I'm gonna round up some big spoons and then we'll make this thing, right? Some of our cooked black beans, drained, queso. I'm already like light on queso, and that is not good. Some cotija. This is our crema going on top. All right, so this is the first pass I'm gonna make on this. I'm gonna kind of get rid of all this other stuff, set aside a few things for tomorrow, and then we can dive in and kind of pick it apart in a sec. Just overall look of this, it just looks dry to me. It just doesn't look like there's enough sauce, doesn't look like there's enough liquid. Is it sparking joy? Not really. Ingredients, I'm gonna give myself 72%. I feel like I have a lot of like the right players here, but yeah, something just feels wrong, Pork belly tastes really good. I feel very validated by the pork belly. Technique, oh my God, 70%. I feel like there could easily be a different technique on the pork belly. I think there could be a different technique for how this dish is being constructed. I feel like I came at this the way that I would come at nachos, and I don't know that this is playing by the nacho rules. Appearance-wise, I'd say I'm maybe like around that 70% mark. I feel like I'm in like solid C- territory here. That's definitely not my sweet spot. I feel like until I have a better understanding of the queso's interaction with the chips and how much of the beans themselves and how much of the bean liquid is ending up in this thing, that is really an enigma to me. Taste, I'm gonna give myself 84. The overall flavor of things together is working, and it's somewhat close. There's a lot that I have to think about tonight, and I'm gonna be paying even more close attention to tomorrow morning. I need to sleep on this. I need to come in, fresh perspective. I need to taste the dish first thing, think I know what to look for now. Yeah, hopefully be able to get a little bit closer before I make one of these for Rick. Wow, it's further in than I remember. Okay. We've got like a major height situation here. I mean, like that is like stacked. It's so evenly cylindrical. It's making me feel like it was plated inside of a mold. So working my way down from the top. I don't know why this has been so hard, but it's just like, I probably should have expected that this would be here, but that's just a piece of radish. Sometimes you have to just really stop and think about what you're tasting as opposed to what you expect to taste. I felt like I tasted a shred of cheese, which I didn't taste yesterday. Was there shredded cheese on the one yesterday and you guys just didn't say anything about it to me? I'll take your silence as a yes. So there's our jalapeno. I definitely feel good about the pico. Definitely feel good about the onion, although I don't know about the color of it. Got another piece of the pork here. With the pork, I am tasting more of like a dried chili flavor to it. I might just do like a little bit of a Hail Mary and just use like a little bit of chili powder or something. Here's a philosophical question about this show. Is there like a specific tool that you guys are using to mold this thing that like I should have access to? Could you just make like a paper tube or something?
We've got something similar to that.
Bring it on. Yeah, it's just making me rethink how this whole thing needs to be assembled. Rethinking the queso, little tweak on the pork belly. I think I'm pretty good to go here. Cool, let's do it.
How's it going so far?
It's going okay. I feel like the second tasting today like blew things wide open for
Yeah.
me. It's like this crazy nacho tower assembled like in a collar. And then, you know,
I think this one is really hard because there's just so much going on.
there's so much.
All right, you've been given a lifeline.
Is this a number, what is
Number,
this?
not number 10 can? Yeah.
Number 10 can.
I'm just delivering the message that this is what they used as the mold with the lid at the bottom
Yeah.
taken off.
Cool.
Obviously, everything taken out. One less thing to do.
for this. This is amazing.
All right,
I'm
good.
super into this. Thank you.
They threw you a bone.
All right, first up, I'm gonna use the beans from yesterday because even if I'm off by an ingredient or two, overall texture, flavor, I think they're totally fine. So then this is our pork belly. I am just removing the skin again. I'm doubling down on pork belly. Pot's a little crowded. I want it to be very like tight on itself when it's braising. I just want to render a little bit of the fat. We're not going for crispy here. We're just looking for a little bit of the fat to render. So no big deal, okay? It's gonna be fine. As soon as that's a little bit toasty, just going to hit it with a little bit of chili powder, get some water in there and braise it out. So I'm just gonna make the pico. Is it time to talk cheese? The queso I made yesterday I thought was really good. I just don't think it was the right thing. I'm frankly concerned just about like getting the tower to stand up. I guess I'll make enough of everything to be able to make 2 towers, which means quite a bit of queso, just in case I have an accident. I want to do a blend of mild orange cheddar to get some orange color in there. So this is the world that I'm going to be working in for cheese. So that's queso Oaxaca, Monterey Jack, and mild orange cheddar. So yeah, let's do that. Butter's in the pot. Tablespoon of flour. Rick, is queso is that part of like that French influence, or did that come from like more of like a Tex-Mex kind of like
More Tex-Mex.
late?
Yeah. Queso is never just, like a roux and cheese. It's always spicy. Sometimes it has like dried chilies in it. Sometimes it has fresh chilies. Sometimes it has a salsa
Sure.
pico de gallo.
Cool. Just what I needed to hear. Thank you. Yesterday, I think I used 3/4 of a cup of milk. I'm gonna add an extra half cup. You know what? No, screw it. No, I'm gonna do more. I'm gonna do like 2 cups. Because the cheese is gonna tighten this a lot. I can always thicken it more if we really need to. But I need a lot of this stuff. So just checking our belly here. We should be pretty good. It's definitely giving me more of that like slight smoky chili something I felt like I was tasting. Feeling strong to very strongly in favor of this. Queso is here. Right now I would say it's a little bit thin, and yet I know it's kind of being drizzled onto the chips, and it's not congealing in a way that like, you know, like a super cheesy filled queso would. There's the simple fact that a queso tends to not have like tons of like sharp cheese flavor to it. Like, listen to me. I don't know what to call it. Rick's confused me.
How did I confuse you?
Now it's like queso, like it's different every time. I don't know who I am anymore. So the plan is I'm gonna assemble one of these right now because I want to have a chance building the tower in the number 10 can before I have to do it for Rick. That said, I don't feel the need to waste like my pork belly because I don't have that much of it. So I'm gonna use like the queso, the chips, toppings, whatever, construct one, see how it performs, see how everything tastes, and then I'm gonna do another one for Rick. All right, so cotija, sour cream, got my cheese here. I've got my radishes, cilantro, sliced onion, and then jalapeno. So we've got our beans ready. Pork belly is basically ready. I feel good about the queso. I'd say queso confidence is 85% right now. I didn't feel great about opening up a number 10 can, which is like, what is it, like 8 smaller 14.5-ounce cans worth. Luckily, our nuts come vacuum packed in these guys. That's what I'm gonna use as my mold. I think the question is this gonna work? I feel like there's only one way to find out. Okay, I'm 68% confident that this is gonna work and stand up. I mean, we'll see, right? There's some ridges in the can, which I definitely don't love. There you have it, Jamie Oliver's Insanity Nachos. I think I'm like at 85% here. Ingredients, I'm gonna say 84%. I feel like there's definitely a difference with the queso. I think most of the right ingredients are here, and especially when the pork belly's in this, I think it's gonna be great. I think technique-wise, I'm at about 82%. Flavor can tell you a little bit, but it can't tell you everything. Layering technique, I really don't know. I'm doing what makes sense to me. If that's wrong, you know, so be it. Appearance-wise, I wanna say 90%. Taste, I'm gonna say 88%. I think the balance of flavors are here. I think that it's a little heavy on jalapeno. I need to lighten that up. With a little bit more queso, I think it's gonna work. Overall, that means I'm at 86%. Honestly, the fact that it's still standing, I'm actually really glad that I had a dry run molding this thing inside the can. I don't think I would have wanted to do that for the first time for Rick. So this is my last shot coming up. I need to redo all my toppings because it actually took way more of everything to construct this thing than I was realizing. So yeah, last one coming right up. I'm in full-on queso mode right now. This stuff is slightly shreddier than what I was using before. There was one thing that was really bumming me out about the version I just put up. It was just that the queso felt a little bit grainy. So I'm gonna see if I can make a smoother one. It's mostly the same as what I did before, but it's a different brand of queso Oaxaca, and I'm using less of the cheddar. I'm using more Monterey Jack and more Oaxaca proportionally. All right, hopefully that's enough. We'll see. Just gonna get another roux going. I don't know about this new Oaxaca. This sucks. I really liked the way this queso Oaxaca kind of looked and tasted, but it's, I don't know if it's just like too low a moisture content. It just doesn't really want to melt well. No big deal. New cheese blend, new attitude, minor setback, but got a different queso Oaxaca. It's like higher moisture content, very similar to what I had before, just different brands. This one's kind of getting funky on me too, but we'll see. Maybe this just got too hot. Okay, new plan. Taking the old queso. I'm gonna reheat it and work more stuff into it. Good God. So I have the old queso, first one I made today. I don't know if it just was like a little bit too hot, if I tried to push it along too much because I'm frustrated and I'm running behind. That was not going anywhere good. All right, so this is the situation. So I went back to queso number one, just tried to build it back up a little bit, bulk it out with a little more cheese, thin it out with a little bit more milk. However, that one kind of has turned into creamed corn consistency. Not that good. I'm gonna put it in the blender, see if it can come back. Gotta be real careful blending hot, cheesy things. It goes without saying, don't do this at home. It's just a terrible idea. I really doubt that this is gonna help anything or bring it back, but it might just give like the sort of sense of drama that we need, you know? This is like queso CPR right here, man, and we are losing it.
Really? Do I need to step in?
That's not bad. Guys, we may be back, but I feel like the clock is ticking on this thing. We've got to move, okay? Who's with me? Let's get this thing going, okay? Queso, chips, beans. Got our porky nugs. Clock is ticking on the queso. Clock is ticking possibly on Rick and my friendship. Let's get the kicked out of us by this dish, you know? We are getting a little seepage at the bottom. Totally normal, not a problem. I feel like this is my best yet. Okay, this is my final version. This is the one I'm gonna show to Rick. Overall score, I wanna be positive here. I feel like, you know, we caught some bad breaks today. I'm gonna call this 88. I feel like I always end up on 88, but you know what? There's a certain psychology to it. I feel like I'm a little bit wrong, but I'm not that wrong, you know? Yeah, was the queso blended in the original? No, freaking course not. But like, I saved the day, and like, that's 3 points right there, right? So this is gonna sit for a few minutes until Rick is over here and ready to go. I'm gonna unmold it just when he's over here, so anything could happen at that point, but we'll find out in just a few minutes.
So you can probably guess by what's on the back of my head whose recipe this actually is.
Uh-huh.
Wait, this doesn't give it away? Come on, Morocco.
Guy?
Yes.
It's Guy?
Who else do you know that has obnoxious glasses like this that wears them on the back of his head?
Oh, is that what he does?
Oh my God,
I
why
know
am I
of
even...
him. I mean, it's not like I like watch like all the episodes. I always think that it's a Guy Fieri recipe because there's always some element of like all of these that's just like a little too over the top.
So, I want to present to you Guy Fieri Trash Can Nachos.
When all you have to go on is like your hands and feel.
Right.
It doesn't feel like there's that much of anything.
Right.
You know what I mean? That was a weird chip. Okay, so
Sure,
it needed a few more things. The main bummer, you know, looks-wise, is just like I needed so much more of like all the bits and bobs.
Even though, yes, there is more stuff in this, it looks like you've got the ingredients. I know that you have belly in there because I saw you making it earlier, and you can see these little pieces of not belly.
Is this skirt steak?
Yeah.
That kind of makes sense. Like skirt steak has that like incredibly fibrous kind of pull apart quality to it that in my mind read as something that had been braised and seen liquid.
It has a little lime and garlic.
Okay.
I guess the other obvious difference between this and yours is like just the amount of crap. Just visually, yours just looks like it has less of this stuff. Tell me about your queso.
I started with a pretty basic bechamel base, and then I built it up with queso Oaxaca, mild orange cheddar, and Monterey Jack. There was no way for me to tell if like the pico was potentially occurring in the queso as well,
Right.
or just on top.
Right.
I erred on the side of not putting anything in it. So what's in your queso?
You mean Guy Fieri's
No,
queso?
I mean your queso, because you own it now, Rick. You knew what you were signing up for. Go ahead and you put these on, all right? Now we're even.
Great. All right, in Guy Fieri's queso.
Uh-huh.
He has jack, mild cheddar, quesillo or queso Oaxaca, and
Colby?
asadero.
What's asadero?
So it's probably more similar to a fontina.
And what's his base? Is it a bechamel base or?
Yeah, it's a very light bechamel.
Yeah.
So he also had pickled jalapenos, the
Wow.
brine, a pinch of cumin, and a pinch of cayenne. You missed the cream, so he actually uses quite a bit of cream. But this is a hard one because all of these flavors, especially given the fact that it's in a can, the chips are absorbing moisture from all sources.
Right.
So tell me what's in your beans.
I just brought them up from cold, plenty of water, a little bit of Mexican oregano, have white onion, garlic, and a little salt.
You probably mistook the herbal note for oregano, which I mean would make sense. It's actually epazote. Guy does actually give the option of using Mexican oregano because it is actually hard to find. Apart from that, you kind of nailed the beans. So
That's good.
Every other topping in the nachos you got. So the obvious miss was the meat.
The meat's the one where I'm just like, dang, you know?
Yeah. So for ingredients, I'm going to give you a 75.
Okay.
Technique, I was a little thrown by the blender cheese sauce.
That was definitely a Hail Mary.
And I was also impressed with the beans. So for technique, we're giving you 91.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it looks so visually different, I think from an appearance standpoint, you got to get dinged for that. There
Yeah.
just wasn't enough stuff. So
I'm
for that, we're getting
so
a
annoyed.
74.
Yeah.
I think taste-wise is where you did really well. The fact that you got the cut of the onions and the radishes and the jalapeno, I think that's also very impressive. So for taste, giving you a 90.
Okay.
So, unfortunately, all of those things, despite the fact that you did get two 90s in there,
Yeah.
the average brings you down to an 83. Yeah. So B.
I
yeah.
made some dumb mistakes, but I'm very happy that, flavor-wise, I'm so close, and ingredient-wise, I'm so close.
This was a particularly difficult challenge, and I'm actually really impressed that you got the mold from simply feeling around. What you actually had to literally feel your way through, I think you can be really proud of what you did. I'm very impressed. I mean, I was impressed with you before, but even more so now.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Aww. And there went your timer.
What's frustrating is to feel like you nailed a lot of the flavors and you nailed a lot of the ingredients, but you sort of missed the overall picture, right? I think we can all agree these nachos, and perhaps even Guy himself, do not follow any rules. I feel a little bit humbled. I certainly feel particularly, kind of humiliated by the skirt steak. I did not let myself taste it because I just didn't believe it was a valid option in there, and that is hugely frustrating to me. I'm totally fired up for another one. I think part of why I seem disappointed is because it's not that I want to be right all the time, but like if I'm going to be wrong, I want to be wrong in a smart way. I don't want to be wrong I pick the complete wrong ingredient and just kind of never questioned it once I kind of assigned a label to it. I don't think it's about being right. I think it's certainly about the journey.
A little drum roll, please.
It's like Jenga.
Nice and
Jenga.
easy, nice and easy, nice and easy.
Woo!
Trash Can Nachos!
He did it.
Oh, yes. Perfect, it's perfect.
I think that's quite enough of that. I'm gonna go put my spoons away and go home, all right?